Taurus. Welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. My name's Carol and I want to welcome you back. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. This is a fairly new channel. I started it in December 2023. So let's get started. This is going to be your May 2024 reading. So I hope you've survived all that eclipse energy. You know, and it's still, the energy still is out there. I know I remember reading somewhere that the eclipse from the energy from last month, the April 8th eclipse, the energy from that can last until the end of the year. It was that powerful. So I hope you had a chance to see it. I ended up having to drive about an hour and a half to get to see it. So I was really glad that I got into the path of totality. So let's get started today. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a healing map. So we're going to take a really deep dive into what's going on with your healing. Month of May, you know, we're almost halfway through this year already. And so I think it's really important just to kind of get to check in. So we're going to start off with looking at what your situation is. And usually what happens when I pull these cards is I'm always going to come up with maybe a pattern that you're dealing with, you know, something that's repeating and you just can't seem to get a handle on it and you can't figure out why this keeps repeating. It's going to probably bring up something to do with a relationship. Could be a problem you're dealing with, like a struggle, decision you have to make. And then what we're going to look at is what the most, you know, this is what is really most important, because line 2 is going to tell me what needs healing. It's going to tell me what's coming up from your shadow. So we're going to do a little bit of shadow work. And if you're unfamiliar with shadow or what shadow work is, I'm going to leave this video called My Powerful 4-Step Guide for Shadow Work. And really what it is I give you a really good guide of how to do shadow work, and it's how I do it and how I've been doing it for, you know, the last 7 years of my life with my own intensive healing. And I'm also going to give you other videos that you can go to that, you know, for example, if you need videos on journaling or grounding or how to process your emotions. So it really is going to lead you in different directions. So I'll leave that at the end, and I'll also link it in the description box below. Now, what needs healing in the second row is definitely having a huge impact on the situation that you're sitting in. So it's really important to know, you know, it's going to help us with how to get out of that, you know, because there's something that's coming up for you to heal. Because it's affecting what's going on with you in that first row. And then I'm going to look at the third row. Well, how can you heal this? You know, it's one thing for me to sit here and tell you what situation you're in, how to heal, what needs healing, but then it's another to tell you, okay, this is how you're going to heal it. And then I'm going to look at what the outcome is. You know, what's going to happen once you do some of this healing, once you do some of this shadow work, and you know, it could be some advice from the tarot. And then I'm going to end the reading off with an oracle card from the spirit animal deck right here. And that usually is right on for me. I like that deck. So I'm going to be using the Rider-Waite deck today. I'm also going to be using, if I have to clarify, I'll use my mini Rider-Waite deck. And so what I'm going to start off with, Taurus, before we even start pulling cards here, is I want to talk about, I did a yearly reading for you back in December 2023, and I put them out in January. And so I pulled 12 cards for you, and your May card that I pulled for you was the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen is, especially the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen is all about embodiment. She is the feminine part of us. The Queen of Pentacles, the pentacle itself represents the body. So the Queen of Pentacles is the feminine aspect of ourselves. Now, we all have a feminine aspect and we all have a masculine aspect. So this has nothing to do with gender. Notice how I didn't say male or female. Sometimes I'll slip. But it is the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect of it. Unfortunately, the feminine aspect of ourselves and all the qualities that she represents has really been oppressed for us because we really live in a patriarchal society where it's really been masculine led, you know, really detail oriented and getting things done and work and, you know, pay attention to, you know, trying to make as much money as we can. And the Queen isn't about that. You know, the Queen of Pentacles wants us to slow down. The Queen of Pentacles wants us to get back into our bodies because that's where we're going to live our lives. The Queen of Pentacles, she lives her life from experiencing her own body. And what that means is she feels her emotions. She feels everything that's going on in her body. She doesn't live from her mind. And most of us live from our ego, let's face it. That's what drives us. And so this Queen of Pentacles here is coming out for you as an overriding energy for the month of May. You know, and it's all about grounding. It's all about getting back into your body and starting to, you know, feel what's going on in your body. Starting to heal some of that stuff that's coming up for you to heal. And we've spent too long, I think, just shoving all that stuff down, repressing it. And when you do that, you're going to find that that's when your patterns start showing up over and over and over again. And sometimes they get louder and louder until you start paying attention to them, you know. We wonder why certain issues, certain people we're attracting into our space all the time, the same type of people. It's because we need to heal. We need to heal some of these, you know, these issues, these things from childhood, trauma that we have. And you can sit here and say, you know, I don't have any trauma, but every single one of us has trauma. On a continuum, of course. Some of us have more than others, but we definitely all have some trauma to heal. So let's get started. I'm going to start off by pulling 3 cards for you. And so I want to look at what situation is Taurus sitting in right now. So I'd like 3 cards for that, please, Tarot. What situation is Taurus sitting in right now? And I got the 5 of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. And I need one more card, Tarot. One more card, please, for the situation that Taurus is sitting in right now. That one almost came out. There we go. Ooh, Ace of Cups, 2 aces. Whoa, 1 in reverse, though, so we'll talk about that. Row 2, we're going to look at what needs healing. What needs healing this month for you? What does Taurus need to heal this month? 2 cards for that, please. What needs healing for Taurus? Ooh, these cards are being stubborn for me. That's a workout. I think I have, this top is too hot. So that's okay. We'll work through it. Got to get through this reading. I just started. All right. 2 cards, please. So for what comes up for healing, what is coming up here? There we go. All right. The Chariot. The Chariot and, oops. The Hierophant in reverse. The Hierophant in reverse. Interesting card for what needs healing. Yeah. What can I heal? Oh, sorry. How can I heal this? How can I heal this? 3 cards. How Taurus can heal this. Oh, nice. They popped out. So I got the Ace of Wands. You have 3 aces on the table. You have the 2 of Cups. And then you have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles. And finally, what's the outcome? What is the outcome? Once you heal this, I want 2 cards for the outcome here for Taurus. Two cards, please. Okay, we got too many cards here, so I'm going to put them back in. 2 cards only, please. What's the outcome here? This card read. I'm looking like a sloppy dealer today. Actually, they're not falling out that much. They're just, I'm finding your, these cards are coming out easy for you. So I'm wondering what's going on if you're holding some things in here. There's 1. Oh, there's 2, but I'm going to turn those 3 of them into 2. Okay, got my 2 cards. So we're going to start off with the 10 of Pentacles. And the Star card. Interesting card to end off with. And that's in reverse. Okay, so let's begin at the top. So our overriding energy, like we said, is the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so about grounding, getting back into your body, you know. So what is your situation right here? Well, I'm seeing that you're, like, you have 2 aces at the top here. Now, let's talk about this 5 of Cups here. This is what you're sitting with. You are very much in a place where you're feeling quite hopeless. So you could be sitting in a place where you're feeling quite depressed. You know, this is but the one thing about the 5 is that, you know, this is a card of conflict. So you're definitely dealing with some inner conflict here. But it's also, on the brighter side of this, it's also a card of change. And I find for myself, whenever I've, you know, got into those really deep dives of depression or hopelessness, and what I call it futility. That's my term for it. And it just feels like absolute hell to be sitting in this. And, you know, some of us can spend quite a lot of time in this. You can spend weeks on the couch. You can spend, you know, months. And it just doesn't go away, and it comes and it goes, and it comes and it goes, and you don't know when it's going to come, but you could just feel it when it's starting to settle in, you know, and you just feel like complete shit. Like, you don't see any point in doing anything, and you don't see any point in, you know, some of us can not see any point of going on. Like, it can get really that bad. And so, but you know, what's in the back here is this water that's flowing, you know. That's really important with this card, because that's the change. Water represents emotions back here. And that's the change that wants to come in here with the Queen of Pentacles also, is that, you know, our emotions are meant to flow. So when we get stuck in this kind of energy right here of hopelessness, depression, futility, you know, we're stuck on an emotion. Hopelessness is an emotion, and we're stuck on it, and we're not meant to be stuck on emotions. The Queen of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles here is very much in her body, and she feels everything that comes into her body, and her emotions flow out, comes in. And we're not supposed to get stuck on them, but unfortunately, we humans get stuck on depression. We get stuck on anxiety, and these are the emotions, these really tough emotions that get stuck in our body. And so this is where I'm seeing here is you're stuck. But, you know, you're not seeing these 2 cups here. You're not seeing these 2 cups. You're not even seeing them. When we are in a state of hopelessness, we don't see the other side. It's absolutely impossible to see these 2 cups because we're in so much pain, right? And because we're feeling so hopeless, we don't have the energy to even look the other way and see it. But what I'm seeing here is with your situation here, you have two aces side by side. And an ace is a gift from the universe, a gift from God, a gift from Creator. It's like saying, here you go. Like, here's another chance for you. And I know when you're sitting with that Five of Cups kind of shit in your body, the last thing you don't, like, this person's not even turning around, not even looking at. There's two offers from the universe sitting here behind you. The first one is the Ace of Pentacles, no surprise. And that one's upright. And that is the body. You know, here's your chance again. Here's your chance. The Queen of Pentacles here with the body in her hands, the pentacle in her hand. So much, you know, she loves the body. It's time now for you to learn how to ground and get back into your body, because in your head, you are telling yourself how unworthy you are, how much of a piece of shit you are, how much you hate yourself. But it's time to get back into your body and start to feel what your truth is, you know, and start to feel this hopelessness. And we're going to get at this. And where is this coming from? We're going to find out where this is coming from. And the Ace of Cups here is another offer. And this one's in reverse. And it's no surprise, because the Cups is all about, here's another chance to start to feel your emotions. It's time to start to feel this hopelessness. It's time to finally get at this. Because the only way that you're going to get past this is not to keep pushing it down, is not to keep sitting on your couch. Though, believe me, I've spent many, many hours sitting on my couch or in my bed not wanting to get up when I'm in that. I know what that's like, and it's horrible. But the Ace of Cups here comes in and says, here's another chance. Here's another chance to start feeling your emotions again. And I'm seeing that there's a resistance here because it's in reverse. And of course there's a resistance. Of course there is. Because when you're sitting in futility and hopelessness and depression, you're not looking at another side to this. Okay, so here's where you're sitting. I understand where you're sitting. And it's not a fun place to be. It's a horrible place to be. So, oh my nose is really itchy. What needs healing? Wow. So, the Chariot card comes out, an interesting card for what needs healing. Let's talk about the Chariot card. The Chariot card is this individual that's has these two sphinxes, and they're not even moving. They're going in two different directions. He has no reins on them, you know. He can't even control them. Though he's very much trying to control these two sphinxes with his mind. And this is how he's been doing it for a long time. He's left this walled city behind here, but if you look at it, his chariot is cement itself, and everything in this picture is so cemented, right? It just seems so heavy, this picture, so ancient, so old. The energy's old. And he's been going at this for a while, these two sphinxes, and he's been trying to control them for a while with his mind, his willpower. Well, you know, you get to a point here where your willpower and trying to control things with your mind, you know, you might be, because of the situation you're sitting in, you may have been trying to control all of this with your mind, and you're stuck up in your head. You really are stuck up in your head. And this card comes up when it says, okay, you can't control this with your mind anymore. You've tried a long time here, but you're getting nowhere. Just like this charioteer here. He's getting nowhere because he's trying to control these with his willpower. You're getting nowhere because what else is going on here is the Hierophant here. So it tells me that you have been trying to control your entire situation by what has been coming up in your head. And what has been coming up in your head are your ideas, your thought patterns, and they're brought on by the Hierophant here. And the Hierophant here is in an upright position. Here you have this papal figure, and he's teaching these two other individuals below him. So they're like his disciples, his whatever you want to call them here. They're learning. They're learning the rules. They're learning the laws. They're learning their sense of obedience. You know, they're learning about what's right and what's wrong. And so what I see coming up here from your shadow, or what you need to heal, is there's something that you've learned as a child of what was right and what was wrong. And, you know, maybe you were told, because, you know, the Chariot card comes up with this strong will here. Maybe you were a strong-willed child, and, you know, certain things had to be said to you, or so not had to be, were said to you when you were a child. But I'm finding here that you still have in your head, this was in reverse, you still have in your head these things that, this sense of obedience of what's right and what's wrong that you grew up with, and you're still living by it, and you control everything in your life by it, because that's what's sitting in your unconscious, actually, in your shadow, because that's what you've been taught. This is what you've been taught, and it's in reverse here. And so I'm seeing here that, you know, there's this card really needs to, your sense of right and your sense of wrong needs to really be looked at. Really, really be looked at. And now I want to pull another card here for this Hierophant card. Tell me some more about, oh, wow. You got the Ace of Cups that came up, you know, in reverse. Second time it's come up here. And so what this is telling me here is that there is a real resistance here. When this comes up in your shadow as something that's in reverse, so you have a real resistance to looking at these emotions of that are sitting here in your shadow that maybe you weren't allowed to have. Maybe when you were younger with this Hierophant card, maybe you were told, you know, anger was something that was not allowed, right? You're not allowed to be angry. You're not allowed to cry. And so I'm seeing here that you have some emotions here that are sitting here because you got the Ace of Cups here. You know, it's time to feel again, but there's a resistance to feeling. And so I'm seeing here that maybe when you were younger, you know, you were told, because this is about obedience. So you were told, don't take out your anger, because if you're going to get angry, this is what's going to happen, you know, and hidden behind our anger is grief. Because when you're a child and you're told that you can't get angry, well, angry is an emotion. You're supposed to feel emotion. It's a beautiful emotion that brings about change in your life. And you're not allowed to feel that. And so you put it away. But behind that is all that grief that, you know, as a child that you would have felt because you weren't allowed to use that emotion. And so I'm seeing here that's what's hidden in here. Like there's some emotions that are needing to come up that you were told you weren't allowed to have when you were younger. So how can I heal this? I keep on saying what? How can you heal this, Taurus? Well, the Ace of Wands comes up, and it's another ace. And the Ace of Wands is the ace, again, it's an offer, it's a gift from the universe, but this time it's about wands. And the suit of wands is a real fiery suit. It's our creative suit. It's our drive. It's our purpose. And it's come out here to say, you know, here's another chance for you to look at, you know, what is your purpose? How can you bring your life kind of in a different direction, in a sort of a more creative direction? What is it here? And it's in reverse, which there's a real resistance to looking at that, right? And this is kind of like, how can you heal this depression up here? Because you're sitting in that. So how can you take that step to at least finally, you know, start to see the light again, to get out of your depression? Well, it says here that, you know, well, it's time We're going to take your life in a new direction. The universe wants to. But it's in reverse because there is some resistance here, of course, because you're sitting with your depression. But the universe says, well, here's the Two of Cups. Here's the Two of Cups for you. The Two of Cups is that it's the beginning. It's the number 2. So it's near the beginning of the Cups suit. And it's about starting to have a real, people think this is like is an intimate exchange with someone else. But it's actually an intimate exchange with yourself. I think it's time for you, Taurus, to really start to get intimate, to get vulnerable with you, with who you are. And it's time to start to feel some of this stuff, this anger that you weren't allowed to feel. It's time to start to feel that. And you can do that. You can feel your anger. And you can do it in a very grounded way. You can journal about your anger. You can journal about how angry you are. You can take a bat to a mattress and just pound the shit out of the mattress. You got to get some of this anger out, and that'll get you to the grief. These are feelings that are often the ones that are hidden in our shadow that we need to really get to. Because, the Seven of Pentacles comes up, and this tells me that you're really sitting in a place where you're going, is this everything? Like, is this it? So, this isn't it. And the universe wants you to start to journal from, why bother? Why bother, getting off this couch? Why bother doing anything? My life is not going anywhere. But the universe wants you to know that your life is going somewhere, can go somewhere. There's all these aces here that are on offer for you. And it's finally time for you to start to really get to, in contact with who you really are, and get back into your body and start to feel some of these emotions. And so what's the outcome of this? What's going to happen when you start to really develop that relationship with yourself and really start to feel those emotions, that futility that you're feeling, that anger that you're feeling? Well, here's the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles speaks about, if you look at, there's different generations on, three different generations here. You have the old individual here at the front with this beautiful coat of zodiac signs all over it. Very much an individual with lots of wisdom at the front here, but really not even in connection with this other, these other two individuals here. And then you have a little child here just holding on to, his parents here. So there's like 3 different generations here. So it looks like a family card, speaks about generations. But then if you look really closely at the Ten of Pentacles, you have these Ten of Pentacles that are in the form of the Kabbalistic tree of life, which comes from the Jewish tradition. And it talks about, it's a map in itself. It's a map of healing, if you want. It's a map that really gets us in touch with our ancestors, of where we came from. And so this is really when speaks of me of getting in touch with our trauma and what was handed down to us. And it sounds like I'm seeing here that you're going to start to touch upon a bit of your trauma and what you've inherited from your family. Because when you have this anger and this grief that's sitting in your shadow, but that's our trauma. These are things that we've told ourselves, that were told to us, that we've kept really buried in us. And that's our trauma. That's what's sitting in our shadow. And also what's going to come out of this is the Star card. The Star is all about healing. And it's in reverse here. So that tells me that, there is some healing. But you got to get at this trauma first, and that's going to bring you to the healing. That's going to come after. So I'm seeing some real healing on the horizon here for you, especially with the depression that you're sitting with. I'm seeing a way out for you. I know you don't see it, Taurus, and but you know, there is just this whole idea of getting back into your body, you know, the Queen of Pentacles. This is a new start for you this month of really starting to get in touch with who you are, starting a new relationship with you, Taurus, which is a beautiful thing. So let me end this with an oracle card for you. A spirit animal. I love my spirit animals. And I have too many of them that have come up for you, so I'm going to do this one more time. This one wants to come out right back here. Wow. Okay. This is, you got the elephant spirit, and it's called Learn from the Past. Although we often wish we could leave the past behind, elephant spirit reminds us that memory matters, and it does. We must respect the wisdom of the elders who hand down to us traditions they have shaped to express our connection to each other and respect for the community. What has come before informs what we are experiencing today, and we must never forget our legacy of strength and dignity. Elephant spirit appears with a message that we are to acknowledge that which came before and learn from it. I know a lot of people tend to say, well, you know, why does it matter? It's the past. If I have some trauma, why do I have to look at it? Why is there things I have to look at? But you know, that's what does shape us. And it's very important to go back to the past and to start healing some of that. And I'm seeing that's what you're going to be starting to do once you start to develop that relationship with yourself, that intimate relationship with yourself. So take care, Taurus, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.